Pocket Preschool.
Hey, my name is Bailey, and today we're going to be drawing Bluey from the show Bluey. To start off drawing Bluey, we're just going to make it really simple, and one way to make it simple is to use shapes. So when I look at Bluey, she is made up of 3 main different shapes, all right? So the first shape I saw in Bluey was her body, which is a rectangle. And then her ears, which would be a triangle. And then her hands, what I'm gonna do, it might not look like a circle, but I'm gonna show you a little bit later that we're gonna use circles for her hands, okay? All right, so we're gonna start by drawing her body, which is the rectangle. So the easiest way to draw a line is to go up and down because you have a little bit more control than just going left to right. And then we're gonna do another one right across from that. Easy, right? I think so. And when I'm drawing lines, instead of drawing it like this, just one giant line, because sometimes when I draw like that, it gets a little squiggly. So to give myself a little more control and a little more decision on how straight the line is, I like to do little tiny lines all the way down, and then I can follow it back up just to make sure it's as straight as possible. And then what I like to do is I flip the paper, I rotate it to its side so that I can draw the bottom and the top lines up and down. And that just makes it just a little bit easier. And don't worry about it being perfect. And don't worry if your guys' lines aren't super straight. That just takes a little bit of practice. The most important thing is to have fun. Okay, so the next part of Bluey we're gonna be drawing is her stomach. Now that's gonna be another rectangle, okay? So we're gonna be drawing that rectangle on the lower portion of the first rectangle. So we're just gonna be doing it the same way. A line across from this line. Right about just a couple centimeters away. And then we're gonna be doing the same thing on the other side, okay? So we're just gonna make sure that this line and then the line that we're drawing right here is equidistant, okay? And you can even use your pencil to measure that. So what I like to do is use my thumb and the tip of my pencil to measure. So just about that much. Then I go to the edge and about that much, see? And I make a little mark. And then if you notice, I'm rotating my paper again, just so that I can draw this line a little easier, because it's always easier to draw up and down. There we go. Now we've finished step 2. Alrighty, so for this next step, we're gonna be introducing a new shape, which is gonna be Bluey's ears, which are a triangle. And what I'm gonna do, I'm going to start by drawing the triangles on the left and right sides of Bluey's rectangle, which is Bluey's body. And when you're drawing these lines, make sure that when you're drawing the line going up from her head, you want to make sure that on the left side, it is going from left to right. So you're just going to be pointing it to the right corner of the paper. And then on the other side, you'll be pointing it to the left. Now we're going to be drawing the other side of the triangle. We're going to start from basically the middle of the head and then just go a little to the left. Same thing on the other ear. Find the middle of the rectangle and then move to the right. Just a little. And now you've got Bluey's ears. Alrighty, so the next step is rounding the edges of each of the shapes, because in real life, we're not made of perfect shapes. We're a little more rounder than, say, a rectangle or a triangle, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're basically just going to be shaving off the pointy sides of the rectangle. You're just going to want to go to each of those pointy sides and round them out. And it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. And then what you're going to do is just start to erase the pointy side. And then we can come back up and reconnect those ears. Now we have one more part of the ear that we have to finish. It's the inside of the ear. It's just another triangle. And you just want to follow along the other lines. So this one's just going to follow this one. This one right here is going to follow this one. And the same thing on the other side. Perfect. Alrighty, so the next step is we're gonna be drawing the legs, which is gonna be 2 more rectangles, all right? So it's gonna be the same thing we did, starting with the body, but just a bit thinner and a little longer. I'm gonna start the other leg, at the same area as this one on the other side. We'll kind of mirror them. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the same thing that we did on the top with the triangles. Find the middle, and then for this left leg, just gonna move a bit to the left, and then for this right leg, just a little to the right. So what you can do is you can measure it if you want to. I think it's easier when you measure. And I'll flip it actually, like this, right there. And I drew my right leg just a little thicker, so I'm gonna make it match this one on the other side. Perfect, now we have our legs. Okay, so the next shape that we're gonna be introducing is a circle. And these circles are gonna be Bluey's feet and Bluey's eyeballs, okay? And there we go. You'll notice that these feet are a little more shaped like an oval instead of a circle. And that's just gonna make them look a little more like a foot. All right, now the next circle we're gonna be drawing is Bluey's eyes. So what I like to do when I draw eyes is I like to find the middle of the face, right here. And then I try and mirror each of the circles on the left and the right sides of the face. And then any extra lines that you have, you can go back in with your eraser and make it look a little cleaner. And now we have our eyeballs. The next part of the face we're gonna be drawing is Bluey's spots. Bluey has spots on the right and the left side of her face. So these shapes are basically just going to be 2 circles that are just cut in half. So we're gonna start by doing the circle on the left side. We'll start by the inside of this triangle right here. Make it go through the right side of this eyeball right here, down through the middle, the bottom, and then just curve it to the side like that. And you got half a circle right here. And we'll just do that same thing on the other side. Go through it like that. Find the middle of the bottom right here. And then just same thing as we did on the other side, just the opposite way. And I just erase, make Just look a little bit cleaner. And we're done with drawing our circles. Alrighty, so the next step, we're gonna be drawing Bluey's arms, tail, and her nose. So we're gonna be starting with Bluey's nose. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to erase the lines that we made inside of our eyeballs because the nose is going to be going through the right eyeball. So we're gonna start by starting a line at about just above the middle of the left eye. And if you want, we can do the rotating of our paper just to make it a little easier, drawing up and down. And we're gonna go just about to the other edge of the eye and stop right there. We're gonna flip it down. And it's gonna go down about through the middle of the bottom of the nose. We're gonna come down about to the middle of Bluey's body. We're gonna cut across. And then we're gonna start from Bluey's left eye. We're gonna come down. You're just gonna follow this line right here. And then we're gonna curve it down just a little bit. This is gonna be the corner of Bluey's mouth. And then just connect it to that other line we made. Now we have the beginning of Bluey's nose. And we're just gonna erase, erase, erase all those extra lines you made and the eyeball that's cutting into the nose right here. There we go. All right, so now we're gonna start drawing the arms. The arms are basically just going to be a rectangle and a circle. Super easy. So we're going to draw a diagonal line going down this way, pointing to the bottom right corner of your paper. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So what I like to do to make sure that my arms are even, I like to take my pencil and then find the spot on the other side and I mark it. See that little tick mark right there? And that's where I start with the other arm. And I usually stop it right about here, right about where it starts to go straight again. Right there. And then I draw the circle of the hand, which is more like an oval. That kind of looks like a bean. All right, and now we have our arms and our nose blocked in. Next thing I want to do is the tail. So the tail, we're going to start almost at the top of the leg, just under the bottom of the body. That's going to be a diagonal line kind of curving toward the bottom left of your paper. And we're gonna make it go just past this circle right here of his hand. Just about right there. Line it up there. And then we're gonna do another line coming from about, come out of his hand right here. And we're just gonna do a curvy line to connect those two. And you can erase any extra lines you had right there. And then we're just gonna do one more. It's a half circle right here. And then we're gonna go back into each of these circles and each of these simple shapes and add in the details to start to make them look like real hands, real tails, and real noses. So the next step is we're gonna start adding a little more details. So these are just be smaller shapes within the bigger shapes that we started. So the first one we're starting is the nose. So right here, we're gonna start doing an upside down triangle. And this is gonna be Bluey's nose. So I like to start at the top, right where the eyeball connects to the top of the nose, and make a line that curves just a little bit. and do a diagonal line that goes down like this. I start from the bottom, make a diagonal line that goes up to this corner right here. And then right before I get to that corner, curve it. And I use my eraser to make it cleaner shape. Now what's missing? Smile. So now what we're gonna do is draw Chewy's smile. I said his. I'll do that one more time. Now the last thing that's missing on Bluey's face is her smile. So for the smile, we're gonna start about the middle of the nose. Down here. And just make a line that curves up toward the middle of the eye, like this. Now we're just gonna make a little smile crease line. Just make a little, kind of like a C. There you go. And now you have your smile. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be doing is adding details to Bluey's hands. So for the first finger, I like starting on the finger that's closest to the body. It's easier to start the shape out from what we've already established. What we're gonna be doing is we're basically going to be putting little triangles, little curvy triangles in the middle of the circle to create the shape of the fingers. So for the first one, just do a curvy line that curves up toward the middle of the arm. And we'll basically do the same thing coming back down. And we'll angle it toward the bottom right side of the paper. And then that next finger, instead of doing a triangle, we're just gonna be doing a line. Start at about halfway, right here. Just do a curvy line like that. And that last one. So what I like to do, after I draw my fingers, I like to shape them just a little more, like this. Then I'll go in and erase that first circle line in the middle, and then on the outside. And you have a hand. All right, let's do the next one. Same thing, just start from the corner. And then this line right here will just be pointing to the corner where this rectangle meets this circle. And then another triangle right here. Curve this around. This one will be pointing up toward this line right here, of the arm. And then make another triangle right here. Curve that around. That one will be pointing up toward this line again. Kind of line those up like that. And then this last one will just be coming to about the middle. And we'll be wrapping around like that. And now we can erase. And don't worry if I'm ever going too fast, you can always pause and work at it on your own pace. There we go. Now we have the details on both of our hands. The next thing we're gonna be adding details to is the tail. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is erase this line right here. So after erasing this line, this one becomes its own shape. So what we're gonna wanna do down here is basically just draw in a little, one of those triangle shapes like we did with the hand. It's a curvy triangle like that. And now we have the details of the tail. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be adding details to are the eyes and the eyebrows. So with this, you can do it however you want. You can make them cross-eyed, you can make them looking to the right, you can make them looking to the left, you can make them just normal, right in the middle. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have mine right in the middle. And all we're doing is just following along this line, but in the middle. See how it kind of matches the sides and the bottom. Just going right along there. Like that. All right, so let's just do the other eye. Just doing the same thing as we did on the left side. just behind the nose here. And voila, you have two eyes. Okay, and the last detail we're gonna be doing on the face is Bluey's eyebrows. So Bluey's eyebrows are sort of a mix between a rectangle and a circle. It's sort of like a round rectangle. I would say like a bean. So we're gonna be drawing the beans right here. So you're gonna find this corner of the eyebrow, go up, and then it's gonna be angling toward the top right corner of the paper. You're gonna follow it up to almost to the edge of this line, and then curve it around. We go through here, and then just curve it down there. See, kind of looks like a bean. And then you erase what's inside. So one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is since we're doing a lot of erasing, you'll want to draw maybe a little bit lighter than you think, then it'll be easier to erase those lines and they won't show up. You won't have ghost lines is what I like to call them. We're gonna do the other eyebrow on the right side. Sort of just like a mirror of the one on the left. Come up here, almost to this edge, curve around. This way, and curve up and around. Now you have Bluey's eyebrows. Woohoo! Okay, so if you've made it this far, good job. You guys all deserve a clap. Pat on the back, pat yourself on the back. The last part of drawing Bluey is just the fine details, okay? So things like eyelashes or shiny spots on Bluey's nose, or tail stripes, spots, things like that. We're gonna go ahead and do that, okay? So what I wanna start off with is the details from the top to the bottom. So that's the first thing is gonna be the shiny spot on Bluey's nose, which is basically just an oval shape at the top. Super easy. Then we're gonna start going down and draw one of Bluey's spots. So you can start right at the arm line or just above or just below. You can choose. Draw it about to there. And you guys can do as many spots as you want. I'm gonna do 3. And then I'm just gonna do 1 on this side. And if you guys have a lucky number, you can do that many spots. And then I'm gonna move down to the arms. Do the same thing on this side. See how these line up? You can take your pencil and measure. They line up like that. And we'll do the details on Bluey's legs. One down here. See how those line up? And we're gonna erase this line right here. We're gonna be drawing Bluey's toes, which are just gonna be 2 lines. One curve to the top right here. You'll start on this left side, and then you do another one about the same distance from the right, and curve it up to the left. And the same thing on this side. One here, and one there. See? Now they're starting to look like feet. And then the last detail that we have is Bluey's tail stripe. So we can start from this finger right here. And I'm just gonna do 1 stripe, but you guys can do as many stripes as you want. All right, so now that you guys finished the final details, finishing touches, the next thing we're gonna be doing is coloring. So whether that's with a marker or crayons or colored pencils, depending on what you're using, you're gonna wanna make sure that everything's super clean, you get those extra lines, just in case you're using marker, because it could smear. And something that I like to do is if I have super dark portions on my drawing, I like to go over those and make them just a little bit lighter. Just go over it lightly, very, very lightly with the eraser. And that just makes it so that if you're wanting to add color on those portions, it'll show up a little better and it'll go onto the paper a little bit easier too. Just very lightly. Find those darker areas. Make sure everything's clean. And voila, you're ready to start coloring. Now don't worry if your guys's doesn't look like mine. It's not supposed to. That's what makes it special. All right, now it's time to start coloring our drawing of Bluey. I'm gonna use crayons, but you guys can use whatever you want. Let's get started. I hope you guys had fun. I'll see you next time.